Hi everyone, this is Katie with Empowering Astrology, and this is your weekly look at the astrology of December 2nd through 8th, 2019. So as we speak, we're in a new month. We are officially deeper into Sagittarius season, and we're also wrapping up not only the year, but we're wrapping up a decade. So I think that this is a month where we're all going to be a little nostalgic, maybe not, maybe look back and see where we were at the start of 2010 and kind of pat ourselves on the back and be like, okay, I'm glad I'm way further than I was 10 years ago. But that said, it's Sagittarius season, which means that we are looking ahead. We are weaving, are having experiences this month that talk about faith, truth, belief, meaning, and needing to, let's say, make sense of everything that we've been through this year and what does it all mean? How does it affect how we see the world? How does it affect how we see ourselves? And how does it affect these kind of deeper themes around faith and confidence in ourselves and confidence in the world? So before we get into this week's astrology, I did want to do a quick little shout out to something that I'm doing, speaking of the new year. And those of you who maybe follow me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram saw that I was posting about something called the Starstruck 2020 Global Astrology Conference. I am honored to be invited to speak in this virtual summit. It is online, and I'm really honored to be included with people like Susan Miller and Jessica Lanyadoo and Sam Reynolds, Mecca Woods, all these people that, I know personally, but also they're my colleagues. So it's really amazing to be able to present astrology topics along with them. For me, my topic, I'm still narrowing it down, but what I do want to talk about is how to use 2020 and 2020's very powerful astrology to be your best self. So this virtual summit is being hosted by the Astrology Twins, two colleagues of mine that I really respect. So that just kind of adds to the deal. So I put some notes in the show notes. There's a link to what's called my affiliate page. Definitely keep returning to that because when my topic is put up, it'll be there. But today until 12 a.m. Eastern, it's only maybe like 6 hours from now, there is a code for you to get everything at a discount, but you can still sign up to get my talk for free. So please register. Okay, shameless plug. Let's talk about this week's astrology. So the big news, and it's, big being the operative word, is Jupiter arrives in Capricorn today. It did that earlier today, and it's big news because Jupiter only changes signs every 12 months. So if you think back to November of 2018, when Jupiter entered Sagittarius, we've been over the past 12 months really working through these themes of faith. And, I think that there's been a lot of things going on in the astrology of 2019. And so kind of in the background, we've had these, what does this all mean? Like, are we going to make it? Like, am I going to make it? Is this going to work out? Because we've had this long square between Neptune and Jupiter. So I think that's why we've had moments throughout 2019 where our faith has eroded, or maybe we've kind of struggled with confidence and struggled to believe in ourselves. And I use this word faith not necessarily in a religious context, but faith in ourselves, faith in the system, faith in the world. But now Jupiter is in Capricorn, a sign that it will be in until December of 2020. So what does this mean? So Jupiter, by its nature, it wants to expand. It wants to grow things. Although when I hear people say that Jupiter is a planet of growth, it kind of, I don't think that really quite encapsulated, because Jupiter is a planet that really inspires us to get out into the world. I think without Jupiter, we would be sitting at home and be like, okay, this is it. This is all I know. But then Jupiter says, wait, there's a whole planet for you to discover. There's a whole, let's say, wisdom and knowledge for you to discover as well. So it's like we need Jupiter. We need Jupiter to kind of infect us in a good way with this need for adventure, this need for exploration, this need for travel, this need for wisdom and education. And it is Jupiter that really does help us to learn, but learn kind of in a much bigger capacity. But every planet, it has a, let's say, a positive facet and a negative facet. And when I say negative, I just mean a version of that energy that hinders instead of helps. It contracts instead of expands. And Jupiter, even though it has this reputation in astrology as, let's say, the Santa Claus of the planets, the planet of luck and good fortune, Jupiter does have a shadow side, just like all planets. And so the shadow side of Jupiter is, and I'm sure we've all at different times in our life experienced this, the person or even ourselves where we think we know it all. And we are quite opinionated about it, and we're not going to see anybody else's opinion. So that's the kind of the shadow side of Jupiter. And I think that, we have to, whenever we talk about Jupiter in astrology, we have to understand that there is this side of Jupiter that thinks it knows everything and doesn't want to get anybody's perspective. And this is when we start to get into the ideas of fundamentalism. So it's better to kind of, let's say, go with this Jupiter energy to have the curiosity of the world and the curiosity of life and to try new things. And it's through that that we accumulate wisdom. But it leaves Sagittarius, a sign that it's right at home in, and it goes into Capricorn, a sign that traditionally it's not at home in. In astrology, we would say it's in its detriment. It's actually in its fall because it's exalted in Cancer. So it's a little technical information for those who are studying astrology. I think that we can still work with Jupiter's energy in Capricorn. There still is this natural inclination to expand and to grow and to inspire us to, let's say, make something bigger. And so we're doing that now in the sign of ambition and career and responsibility and manifestation. Capricorn is the sign of matter. It's the sign of real world life. So I think that with Jupiter and Sagittarius, there's a vision of things. That's about ideas. I mean, Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's all it's the mind, it's ideas. But what happens when Jupiter goes into Capricorn? We got to put those ideas into reality. So I think this could be a really great opportunity for us. All the things that we've been thinking about, saying we're going to do, and then now we do them. Jupiter is in Capricorn. But there's also kind of like a sobering feeling to Capricorn. Jupiter's like, oh man, like I got to really make this work. And so I think that over the coming months, there is opportunities for growth and new experiences, but we have to make them real. We have to put the work in. We have to build. And so, and I put this in my, let's say, my update today for December 2nd for today's astrology on my website, empoweringastrology.com. You can look in the show notes as well. But I also wrote an article called Jupiter and Capricorn Sign by Sign, so you can understand where Jupiter is affecting your chart and what is kind of contradictorily growing and, let's say, coming together and kind of contracting and consolidating at the same time. Here's the rub. Now, since the beginning of 2018, Saturn's been in Capricorn. Since 2008, Pluto has been in Capricorn. So Jupiter, the last time that Jupiter was in Capricorn was 2008. So this is what's called, Jupiter has returned. It takes 12 years to come back to where it was in the sky. And now it's meeting up with Saturn and Pluto. So I think over the past couple of years, especially with Saturn and Capricorn, Pluto has been doing this thing in Capricorn since 2008, where it's had to really transform our relationship with the material world, transform our relationship with power structures, government, even money and finance. And so that's been happening, and certainly let's say on a personal level, on a world level, a lot's been going on since 2008. And then the past couple of years, Saturn's been in Capricorn, and Saturn has been kind of tearing, let's say with Pluto, tearing down a lot of these old structures and this kind of sense what we need to build. We need to build something new, because the old, it's with Saturn and Pluto has been, Pluto and Capricorn has been exposing, let's say, the stuff, the core of our life and the core of the world around us that's not supporting us anymore. It's not feeding us. It's not, it's kind of, let's say, the internal rot in the systems, both personal and the systems around us. So I think Saturn has come into Capricorn, and we've needed to restructure, rebuild, and the analogy that I've used is that, here comes Jupiter. It's ready to kind of bring in new opportunities and bring in new life and expand and grow, but it's doing so in a sign that's like in this state of gut renovation and transformation and rebuilding. It's like a construction zone. So I think that and don't want to be one of those astrologers that overpromises Jupiter, because sometimes we can get a little excited about Jupiter, the planet of good luck and fortune. But I think that we need to understand that there's a lot going on in Capricorn right now, and by extension, there's a lot going on in a particular part of your life, and that part of your life is in a state of demolition. It's in a state of rebuilding. It's in a state of renovation. So I think that there are or will be some silver linings with that part of your life with Jupiter there. But I think the caveat is that it's important that we have been doing the work on that part of our life. And if we haven't been, Jupiter just might expand something that, hey, we haven't wanted to deal with or pay attention to. So that's my astrologer's caveat on Jupiter and Capricorn. But I think that the positive side of Capricorn, it is a sign of ambition. It is a sign of building and creating and responsibility and making something solid, and making something solid that's going to last not just years, but decades, because that's, the time scale for a sign like Capricorn. It doesn't work in years, it works in decades. Its ruling planet is Saturn. Saturn takes 29 years to go around the sun. So whatever you guys are doing right now, and whatever you're doing at the beginning of the new year, because Saturn and Pluto will make a conjunction in the sky on January 10th, the first time in 37 years, we need to know that the foundation that we're laying right now is something that's going to support us for years. And I think that that's something that when we're looking at astrology and looking at kind of daily horoscopes, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. And yes, what's happening right now is a foundation for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years of your life. So use this time well. Build a strong foundation. Look at what's getting in the way of that foundation. It could be old beliefs. It could be the past. It could be other things. I'm sure you all know what's in your lives and what's maybe, let's say, kind of holding you back. So I think that even though the astrology of December and January as well is a little bit of a pressure cooker, we are stepping into eclipse season. We have a solar eclipse on December 26th. We have a lunar eclipse on January 10th. There's a lot of potential to make some powerful transformations right now. So, this is the heart of what I do. And if you are new to my work with empowering astrology, the ethic, the ethos is that we're using astrology as a tool. We're using our own personal astrology charts, the moment that we're born, this kind of map of energy that you were born with, to help us get closer to our highest potential. I'm just checking in with the comments. I see some familiar faces. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Allison. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Laura. Hello, Rachel. Yeah, it's good to have these reminders. What's the bigger picture? Because So we're not just kind of looking at things in a day-to-day or a monthly way. Like, sometimes we have to really set our sights on what's happening over a 2.5-year period, 2-3-year period. That's what how long Saturn stays in a sign. Jupiter, has a 12-year cycle. Planet like Neptune spends 7 years in a sign. It's been in Pisces since 2012, and it will be in Pisces until 2026, if I remember correctly. Pluto, 248 years. I mean, it's been in Capricorn since 2008. It will not leave Capricorn until 2024 or 2025, something like that. So we have to, keep look at the bigger picture. Just made my computer shake. So yeah, maybe that's the metaphor for kind of the earthquakes and the shaking and the moving that's going on in our life. I mean, with Jupiter in Capricorn, Venus is in Capricorn too. The south node of the moon is in Capricorn right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in Capricorn. And then we have Uranus and Taurus, which is also an earth sign. So I think that as we go into the new year, we need to really look at our relationship to earth, relationship to the ground, our bodies, the environment, food, how we take care of our bodies, how we live in our bodies, in structures of our lives, what we're building, our careers, and our ambitions. So that's really going to be a focus in December and also into the new year. But I wanted to kind of quickly go through Jupiter through each sign, so you kind of have that little quick soundbite for what's going on. Of course, you can still read all of this in my Jupiter and Capricorn sign by sign guide, which is linked in the show notes. So if you are an Aries, Jupiter is coming into a part of your chart that has seen a lot of work since the start of 2018, and that is career, ambitions, your place in the world. So you might feel that you're getting this kind of big push to kind of launch something out into your professional life, maybe start something new opportunities. But like I said, there's a caveat. You are already making profound changes in your professional life. You are tearing down old structures, old professional structures, old ambitions in order to build something new that's going to be more reflective of who you are and where you are right now. So it'll be really interesting to see what you do with Jupiter and Capricorn over the coming 12 months, Aries. Moving on to Taurus, Jupiter is going to the part of your chart that talks about how you see the world. It's travel, it's education, it's how you educate yourself, it's how you kind of experience the world, but also this idea of faith and belief. And I think that we need to take Jupiter's arrival in Capricorn in context with some of the bigger changes that are happening with Taurus right now. Taurus, you have Uranus in Taurus for the next 6 years. So you're in the midst of a personal revolution and transformation. I know so many Tauruses that are like lost 40 pounds, going to the gym, transitioned, making big personal changes. So a lot of things are happening with Taurus right now. And I think that the kind of what's been happening in Capricorn for Taurus is that you've had to really shift how you see the world and really open up your eyes and open up your beliefs, and maybe look at how you've had some limiting beliefs. So here comes Jupiter, hopefully here to open up your eyes and inspire you to travel, inspire you maybe to go back to school. So that's an area of your life you might see new opportunities. Gemini. So Jupiter is arriving in a part of your chart where, now I've said this many times before, but Gemini, I think that you've had a bit of a rough go of it in 2019 because you've had to do a lot of emotional heavy lifting. So you've had Saturn and Pluto in what's called your 8th house, your 8th sign. So it's been a deeply psychological time. You've had to go into the deepest parts of yourself, maybe to face your fears, face the past, work with a therapist or any sort of, person that's going to guide you through this process of profound emotional transformation. And here comes Jupiter. Maybe Jupiter is that going to be that guide for you. Maybe Jupiter, somebody will come into your life that's like the avatar of that, somebody that's going to help you open up, yourself and to be vulnerable and to discover intimacy, because Jupiter is your relationship planet. So having somebody to kind of go with you into these dark spaces, maybe that's the blessing in disguise of this time, Gemini. Cancer. So Jupiter is arriving in your relationship sign of Capricorn. And Cancer, if relationships have likely been a major focus for you, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. So over, I think, this past year and even into the year before, you've had to really open up to bringing new people into your life, but also looking at maybe what's been blocking or maybe what's been attracting certain types of people into your life. And so with Pluto in Capricorn as well, you've had to really profoundly transform relationships, all relationships, how you interact, how you connect, how you socialize. But this might be a time when, if you're not in partnership, that new partnership comes in, or new connection, maybe you're feeling a pull to be social as well. I mean, I know that Cancer, you've been getting the eclipses, so maybe this is a time when major relationship has come into your life. So Jupiter kind of comes in, and sometimes when Jupiter comes into this part of your chart, there is a need for freedom. So if there's an existing relationship and it's not working, Jupiter is like, okay, we're done, I'm out. So I'm just kind of putting that all on your radar as well. Leo. So Jupiter is arriving into a part of your chart that talks about health and wellness and how you take care of your body and how you take care of your daily life. So it's an area that you've been doing a lot of hard work over the last 2 years. Maybe you've made changes to diet. Maybe you've changed, how you inhabit your body or how you take care of your body. Maybe your work has changed as well. So here comes Jupiter. And there might be new opportunities to take care of yourself in new ways, to maybe you're starting a new fitness regimen. Maybe you're eating differently, or maybe you're needing to be in your daily life in a different way. It might be new projects, it might be new work, it might be new jobs. But it's kind of like we need to take into account that there are these two very complicated forces that are happening for all the signs. So it's normally Jupiter kind of opens up, and it's a part of our life that tends to be working out in our favor wherever Jupiter is. But we've got these two heavyweight planets, Saturn and Pluto, plus the eclipses, that's really putting us through our paces right now. Moving on to Virgo. Now, Virgo, I said this in my December horoscopes, which are almost done. I swear to you all, I will have them done later today. Thank you for being patient. There's just so much going on in my world right now. So what I was saying in my December horoscopes, Virgo, when you do read it, is that you're a sign that God bless you, you tend to put a lot of other people first. So I think that with Saturn and Pluto going through Capricorn, you've had to really work on the self and work on valuing the self, work on expressing the self, putting your talents and your creativity as making it a priority. And I think that Jupiter might open this time for you to open up even further to your creativity and your talents and your kind of expression of self. But you've had to really kind of do a lot of personal work the past couple of years, especially in 2019. I will add for Virgo, especially for those for whom this information is relevant, Jupiter is going into the part of your chart that talks about children and pregnancy. So if that's something that's you need or you want to have happen, that might be something that is naturally opening up new opportunities for pregnancy and new opportunities for children. Moving to Libra, Jupiter is coming into what's called the bottom of your chart, which is the roots, the foundation. And you've been doing a lot of work, a lot of personal work over the past couple of years, if not longer, to really transform your kind of connection to this world and to, let's say, nurture and to take care of yourself in a much different way. And that may have meant dealing with a lot of old family or even ancestral stuff. So you've been doing a lot of emotional and psychic ancestral family excavation the past couple of years. Here comes Jupiter, and maybe it's a time to plant down new roots. Maybe you're moving, and maybe that move is a very symbolic move of being in a very different place in your life, based on all the work that you have done over the past couple of years. It is a time when maybe you're welcoming new people into your family, new people into your home. That does also include an expanded family, which includes children in pregnancy. Those are parts of the chart that I see when people are, let's say, having children. But that's, putting down roots, settling down, but settling down in a much different way than maybe you were taught by your family. That's going to be a major factor into the coming years. Just checking on the comments. Hello, I see my mom's on the live chat. So after Libra comes Scorpio. Now Scorpio, Capricorn is the part of your chart that talks about voice and being heard and communication and learning and teaching. And so over the coming months, you might have these new opportunities to express your voice and to be heard. Now, mind you, Saturn and Pluto have been doing kind of a number on getting you to open up your voice over the past couple of years. And for those who have been watching these live feeds, I'm a Scorpio, and I was having like these mic issues, and I was like, wait, I know that this has a deeper symbolism for me, and I'm just gonna like power through whatever this tech issue is, because I'm a smart lady and I can figure tech stuff out, and I did, thank God. But I knew that it was, kind of this old shadow stuff, this, Pluto. This is the thing we have to keep in mind. I actually talked about this on my Pluto webinar this summer. Pluto shows us where there's kind of like a shadow thing that has to happen. Pluto can kind of manifest for us. So if we're not owning our voice, and Pluto is going through the part of our chart that talks about voice, then we might have situations where our voice feels restricted or somebody doesn't let us speak. So anyway, I digress. So Jupiter is coming to a part of your chart where hopefully you've been doing all this work on opening up your mind, learning, speaking, communicating, and there's these new opportunities. So new opportunities to speak, to write, to be heard. Also new opportunities to travel, and just maybe also siblings as well, because that part of your chart does talk about siblings. Just side note. Moving on to Sagittarius. So Jupiter, it's leaving Sagittarius. It was in your chart for 12 months. And so it was a time of new beginnings in Sagittarius, because you're a sign that's all about adventure and the adventure of life and travel. It maybe have felt like a new adventure, a new, kind of setting course for places unknown in search of something new. So here comes Jupiter, your ruling planet. It's going to be in Capricorn for the next 12 months. And so in a way, it kind of just is starting to consolidate the journey. It's going to be highlighting money, income, value, even self-worth over the next 12 months. Now, mind you, Saturn and Pluto have been in that part of your chart for quite some time. So you've been doing a lot of heavy lifting and hard work to transform what you value, transform how you earn a living. Maybe this has had an impact on money in your life. And here comes Jupiter, and hopefully bringing in new opportunities to make money or earn a living, or to, let's say, express your self-worth or values in a much different way. It's going to be a very resource-focused year for you, because that part of your chart, and Capricorn just being an earth sign, is all about creating material stability and gathering the resources you need to feel like you are safe and secure in this world. I will add, because Jupiter will be making aspects to the eclipses, to Saturn and Pluto, that this 2020 will likely be a very transformative year. I'm sure you are up for the adventure, Sagittarius. Just take it in stride, take it with good humor. So going on to Capricorn. Capricorn, you have been through quite some time, I'm not gonna lie, and probably 2019 has been a little bit of a ringer for you. You are coming up to what's called the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in January, this once in a nearly 40-year conjunction of planets. So you're in a time where, and maybe this is gonna start to feel a lot more intense in December, where you're getting a lot of pressure from Pluto to kind of, and I'm using this as a Scorpio, like heavy metaphor, like kind of die so you can be reborn, metaphorically, of course. And so that's hard for Capricorn, because Capricorn's an earth sign. It wants to kind of keep things the same. And it's, I think I've used this metaphor with Capricorn friends, that they've had to try to live life and try to navigate life while the kind of the proverbial house around them is getting transformed and renovated, or even, you know, torn down. So Jupiter is coming into your sign, and either it will feel like a silver lining, a saving grace. Jupiter is a protector. That's, you know, this kind of energy that's in its archetype. You know, maybe you feel that there's a sense of like something is kind of supporting you during this process. And maybe it's a sense of renewed faith after everything that you've been through. But it is a new time for you, Capricorn. Just hang in there. I see that one of my favorite Capricorns is on the live feed right now. Hi, Marina. Yes, right on time. Yes, you do love the pressure. Side note, there was this astrology meme that was circulating around this time last year, or maybe October of 2018, and there was like the Capricorn that like has to do all the things. It was like, Capricorn, just do it. I'm butchering the joke. Marina, you know what I'm talking about. So moving on to Aquarius. I need to find that meme because I like laughed for a good solid hour. Aquarius, Jupiter is moving into the part of your chart that talks about spirituality, retreat, reflection, soul searching. So it's a time when you're nurturing your, let's say, your spiritual health, your soul's health, in addition to this, let's say, you're coming to an end of a great big journey. Saturn, your ruling planet, is also in Capricorn as well. So you are, in a way, preparing for the next big journey in 2020 and 2021, but also, let's say, thinking back and seeing where you have been over the last 12, if not nearly 30 years. So there's a sense of, let's say, looking in, reflecting, needing to let go of some things. It's a great time to let go of old habits, addictions, and patterns. But it's also a time when you maybe are better served really working on your spiritual connections. So this can include meditation or other spiritual activities that helps you to find that sort of inner mysticism. You know, that said, Saturn and Pluto are in that part of your chart. There's a lot of things that are happening on a deep internal level with you right now, Aquarius, and maybe even in your unconscious. So there are things in your blind spot that you can't see, but this is a point of your time right now, is to try to like search them out and feel them out, so that these things in your blind spot is no longer kind of tripping you up. So that's where, let's say, meditation or dream work, you know, your dreams might be really active over the next 12 months, where your unconscious is trying to speak to you, to tell you about all the hidden parts of yourself. Moving on to Pisces, last but not least, you know, Jupiter is your ruling planet. So it's been in Sagittarius for the last 12 months, which is about career, which is about work, ambition, really cultivating your place in the world. Maybe it's been a hard work over the last 12 months, and now it's going to go into Capricorn, which is your sign of social networks, groups, friends. So it's going to be a lot more social time. You know, Jupiter is your career planet, so maybe this is a time when you're doing the networking for your professional life. But this is a time, Pisces, when you've been having to really, let's say, weed out friendships. Really get very clear about the type of people that you want in your life, the really solid friends that are going to, let's say, help you, go into that next big chapter of your life. So maybe over the past couple of years, you've seen friendships drop off. It's my hope for you, Pisces, that Jupiter kind of bringing in that energy of growth and expansion can kind of bring some confidence back to make new social connections, to make new community, to find new groups and new alliances in the coming new year. So it's potentially a very social time for you, Pisces, but it's also a part of the chart where sometimes we can feel disconnected and alienated. So do make sure you're using the energies of Saturn and Pluto to kind of clear through these old blocks. Just checking in on the comments. Yeah, so very nice to see some familiar faces. That was like kind of the quick and dirty look at Jupiter and Capricorn. And I will say that going into the new year, like we've got a lot of planets that are going to be in Capricorn. In fact, towards the end of this year, we're going to have Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter. The sun's going to be in Capricorn. Now, the Capricorn new moon solar eclipse on the 26th. Right now, Venus is in Capricorn. So there's a lot of things happening in the sign of power, manifestation, structure, goals, working towards something bigger, responsibilities, but also accountability. So my little friendly astrologer warning is that with all this energy in Capricorn, we have to be super accountable for our actions and for our lives right now, because Capricorn can kind of, especially with Saturn and Capricorn, kind of show us where we are not quite in alignment with our lives, or in alignment with what we're, our word or the rules or the law. So really keep that in mind as we go through a time when there's just going to be a chock-a-block of planets in Capricorn. I will also add that now that Jupiter is in Capricorn, it will be making a square with Chiron this week. That's a little bit more of a subtle energy. Chiron can we feel it in the background. So these, Chiron is in Aries right now, and what I've really seen it as is this deeper knot personally and collectively, where we all have to really be brave. We have to be courageous. We have to make these changes that the astrology is asking us, but maybe we are kind of at the line getting ready to make these changes, and we are terrified, we are choking, we kind of pull back. And so we're kind of really hopefully not psyching ourselves out right now, because Chiron really speaks to this need to look at our relationship with courage and bravery, and where we have maybe had a mixed relationship with courage and bravery throughout our lives, especially for those who were born from 1968 to 1977 when Chiron was in Aries. That's the astrology for this week. I do have a couple of important points to make, and because I keep getting asked this question by people, and it is the season for it. I do gift certificates for if you are thinking about getting a gift certificate for a friend or loved one for the holiday season. So information is on my website. It's on my booking page. And also I'm doing a webinar on December 19th on the eclipses of December and January. So that information is also in the show notes for those who really want to understand how eclipse season is affecting them sign by sign, also by rising sign, and what is, let's say, opening and changing and transforming. My 90-minute webinar will give you all the information. So again, thank you all for joining me. And like I said, I saw some familiar faces. I do like to hear how you're doing. So, and if you do have any astrology questions that you would like me to unpack on these weekly videos, put them in the chat, put them, if you're watching on the YouTube replay, put them in the comments. Hopefully in the new year, I'm doing more video with you all. But this is a really, let's say, great start to things. And, since we're at the end of the year, like, I appreciate you all. I started Empowering Astrology in 2010, January 2010, which means Empowering Astrology turns 10 years old in January, which is absolutely terrifying to think that that's how much time that's passed. So yes, Empowering Astrology is a Capricorn. It was born on a Sun-Venus conjunction on an eclipse, because I don't know why. It was the date that I picked. It's when I registered the domain. But I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all being support for me this year, as I've made major changes in my life and made this my full-time gig. So I'm in the midst of transformation with you all. So I totally get it. So again, I appreciate you all. Sign up for my newsletter. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, sign up for, let's say, my YouTube channel if you're watching on the replay, so you can always get the new information. But I hope to have a lot of really excited things going on in 2020 already. There's some very interesting things brewing. I am doing the Starstruck 2020 Global Astrology Conference on January 1st, hosted by the Astrology Twins. That is all the information in my show notes, and that's a virtual conference. So on the 1st of January, all the talks become live. You can purchase them all as a bundle, or you can get mine for free if you go to the link that's in my show notes. I would really appreciate it. So I get to talk and have an interview with the Astro Twins in a couple of weeks here in New York, and that's the content that's going to be put out for the conference. So again, thank you all. Have a good week. Enjoy Jupiter and Capricorn, and enjoy kind of the sense that life is turning us in a new direction. It's time to manifest, especially since it's Sagittarius season. It's kind of a new phase of Sagittarius season. We have to now really start to manifest our hopes and our dreams and our wishes. So have a good week. We will connect next week. And until then, bye.